How's that? Yay! Okay, I'm gonna fix it. Yeah, I'm gonna fix it. There we go. Okay, sorry about that.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to Conversations with Heath and Tracy, where we meet here every Saturday at 11 a.m. to demystify your relocation to the DMV. So, hey, today is Saturday. It's a beautiful day. So ask us anything.
Ask us anything. I know you're used to hearing us at Joyfully Married After. We've started up the podcast again. And we are also answering your questions about living here in the DMV. We're going to talk about Arlington today because that's where we picked. We picked Arlington.
Yep, that's where we live. We live in Arlington. But back to the relationship piece. Hey, if you want to check out some of the relationship information, we have it all over your favorite audio platform. So check that out. Joyfully Married After. It's still happening.
It's still happening. So check us out there too.
Yeah. So if you have a question today, make sure you put a Q next to your question in the comments so we'll see it and we'll try to get to it today. And if we don't get to it today, we definitely will answer it after the live stream. So thanks for being here. We appreciate you. So, hey, if you think... All right. So, hey, if you're thinking about moving to the DMV, you want to do your relocation thing, Heath and Tracy are here to help.
We're here to help.
So, hey, today we're talking about Arlington, Virginia. We're going to talk about what happened in the DMV this week. Another week for the ages.
Oh, my gosh.
Woo! And we're also talking about setting your mindset and getting your money right for your move.
Yeah, and if you have any questions, anything you want to ask us, this is to Ask Us Anything. So anything you want to ask us, we're here for you too.
And let's tell them who we are, baby, because if it's your first time here, I'm Heath.
And I'm Tracy.
Tracy and I are parents, podcasters, and joyfully married after 30 years. So, hey, if you want some positivity and upbeat vibes in your life, join us here every Saturday at 11 a.m. as we talk about life in the DMV with Heath and Tracy.
Okay. So, what
we'll start with today, baby?
Let's start with Arlington.
Okay, Arlington. You know, Tracy and I chose Arlington when we were looking at relocating, coming back to the DMV. You know, we lived here after college. We lived in Alexandria. We lived in different parts of DC proper. And so when we were coming back, we had some familiarity with the area. Our daughters were here. But we had to make a decision about what was the best place and the best thing for us to do in this particular stage of our lives. And so we ended up landing in Arlington. So today, actually, we're talking about Arlington. So very cool. You know, Arlington is a phenomenal place. It's a phenomenal location. You want to put up some of the visuals, baby?
Sure.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got here.
So we really like Arlington because of its proximity to DC, its proximity to Crystal City and Pentagon City, the Potomac, our friends in Maryland. So, you know, Arlington is a county in the Commonwealth of Virginia, often referred to simply as Arlington or Arlington, Virginia. The county is situated in Northern Virginia on the southwestern bank of the Potomac River, directly across from the District of Columbia, of which it was once part of. So from a real estate perspective, in Arlington, you can see that we have lots of options in terms of price points and home styles as well. What do you have for visuals, baby?
Let me see. The first one here, the most expensive neighborhoods in Arlington. So
okay.
Marymount, near Marymount. You got Country Club Hills, Lion Village. You can see, just if those of you that don't know Arlington, you can see if you go North Arlington, it's going to be more than South Arlington. And that's just for right now. Because you've got Amazon, which is going to go in right about here, right about where that blank part is.
Yeah, Crystal City, Pentagon City.
It's going to go
Potomac,
in there. So the south part is what we call opportunity. So the next slide, we're showing you opportunity.
Right.
All the dark green you see is opportunity. And so if you're looking to come to Arlington, you're looking in the Arlington area, all the dark green is going to be, the south part of Arlington is going to be where all the opportunity is.
And those are great data points on the right there, baby, about highest appreciating Arlington neighborhoods since 2000. Right. And so when you talk about looking for those deltas and opportunities to increase your net worth and the value of your property, these are some great neighborhoods to hone in on.
Yeah, definitely.
So good stuff there.
And then you've got buy. You can buy. These are some of the homes you can buy. As you can see, you can get something for as little as $300,000. There, I'm showing here up to $935,000. Of course, you can get up to $2 million or whatever. It just depends. You can't just get a condo. You can find some houses in the $400,000 or $500,000 range. It's going to be hard, and you're going to need some help with a specialist or something like that. And then as far as rent, you can, get a condo or newer condo. You can get an older condo, and that's going to be in the in the areas closer to like Clarendon and Boston and Crystal City, those areas, Pentagon City. So keep that in mind when you're looking. And then as far as crime is concerned, most of the crime is still on the South Arlington side. It's just got more density. There are more people that live there. And then even with that, Arlington's still one of the safest cities to live in the United States. So it's just not that bad, even though that we're that close to DC. And as you can see, when you look at this map, you can see how close we are to DC. We used to be part of DC. So that gives you a good visual too. And then as far as schools are concerned, the better schools are in northern Arlington, of course, where the incomes and the prices of the homes are higher. That's usually anywhere you live in the United States. The other thing about Arlington is the median household income is well over $100,000. So that gives you an idea of who lives here and what they, where they are. Most of them are in math and science and computers. And as you know, Amazon is now the
second. I think they're second
largest. You got the government.
They're in the top 5.
Yeah, so they're top 5 right now as far as employers here, as is a lot of government contractors and government and things like that. So that's why you see that high median household income. Let's see. A lot of people always ask us about diversity. And Arlington is mostly what I like to call the lighter persuasion.
Lighter expression friends.
So, but 61%. I think for it to be such a high income per capita, per household community, 8% of African Americans is really cool. As same thing with Latino, Hispanic people or Spanish speaking people.
And the other thing about the DMV in general, right? Because we have such a large volume of Black people in Maryland and in the district as well. So, I mean, it's the vibe of the area in general is really diverse and really cool, right? So from that perspective, don't necessarily get hung up on, these numbers and these data points, but this is just kind of gives you the understanding of who's living in this area proper. Right.
So that's your thing on Arlington. Why did we move to Arlington, babe?
Yeah. So Arlington was a really good location for us as it relates to my new job, and at some point I'll be going into the office. Right now I'm working virtually, and so I think that's important to be able to get to where you need to get to, even with traffic, whenever it goes to some level of normalcy. But today I work virtually, and so that's a good thing. In conjunction with, I think, proximity to the city, where we actually gave a lot of consideration to living in the city proper. We looked at Maryland in certain parts, like Bethesda and some other areas that would be an easy
and we'll talk about those too in the coming weeks.
So the Bethesda area in general, Chevy Chase, Bethesda, some other parts of Maryland that are close to the DC line were also under consideration for us. Right, because I'm going to be going over the bridge to get to Crystal City area. And so that was really important to have that location and the logistics such that it would be an easy commute for me. Now, in conjunction with that, we were thinking about our children, right? And so we have these adult children, and we want them to have some latitude and have some transportation options. And so that was also important for us to either be in the city or near the city, give them some recreational options, work options, easy commutes as well, depending on where they're going for school or work and those kinds of things. And so Arlington ended up making a lot of sense for us, although there were other areas that we were really considering. Yeah,
we were first looking at moving into DC proper, but what we found was the houses were a lot smaller in DC proper than they are in, the surrounding areas. So that's why we decided on Arlington too. As far as costs, it's about equivalent to living in DC, but you're going to get a little bit more house. So, or there are more options. I shouldn't say there are more options for larger houses, I think. So that's the other reason. And then we wanted to be close to Heath's job. So I think that's one of the biggest reasons we chose DC. Let's see what some of the questions are. Okay, let's see. So it looks like we have a JMA, what we call a joyfully married after question here.
JMA team.
Hi, Ariana. How are you?
Hey, girl. Hey.
So it says, my question is how to create happily ever after with a spouse who checked out, moved out, filed for divorce and appears in love with someone else.
Wow.
Oh, wow. I'm so sorry.
Wow.
I'm so sorry. I'm driving into being the wife God called me to be. We have a miracle toddler, and I want to have my family like God intended. Ooh.
Yeah, I'm so sorry to hear that about your relationship, Ariana.
Yeah,
I would say, just off the top of my head, bless you. God is with you, and know that all is well, regardless of how it may look, right? And so you want to make sure that from a spiritual perspective, you think about who you are and whose you are versus what you see in front of you. So I think that's one thing to keep in mind. I think another thing is that the focus that you are pointing, you want to point that at yourself, right? And so it could be a time where you need to look inwardly, look in the mirror, right? And really just make sure that you go on the journey of becoming your best self. And you want to do that for you as well as for your miracle toddler, right? And I think that what you will see is that as you evolve and grow through your pain and go through your grief of your relationship and those kinds of things, as you come out of that, as you come through that, right? Because just because you're in a valley doesn't mean that you won't get to a mountaintop again. And so what you want to do is you want to make sure that you take this time to experience what you need to experience, but also keep moving, keep pressing forward. And as you improve yourself and improve your mindset and come up with some new goals and some new aspirations and just become the best you, then you will attract the right person into your life once again.
Or even your ex-husband. So the thing to remember is to focus back on you. Turn the attention to you. Make sure your child is taken care of. But first of all, make sure you're taken care of. I think a lot of wives have a tendency to focus on being a wife. I'm going to be a wife. I'm going to be a great wife. I'm going to be a great wife to him. I'm going to be a great mother. And you forget about yourself.
Right.
And when you forget about yourself, you forget how you look, you forget how you act, you forget how you're interacting with your husband and things like that. And so maybe he wasn't getting it. I don't know what happened. I'm just saying something was missing there that he felt like he needed to go somewhere else. Yeah. So, and the thing you have to remember is it has nothing to do with you in the respect of what's wrong. There's nothing wrong with you. Right. So what you want to do is turn it around. Focus on yourself. Love on yourself, love on your toddler, and then stay prayerful about a reunion. And if there is no reunion, remember, people are in our lives for a season, okay? And keep it cordial. Don't stalk. Don't bug. Just turn it in on yourself, right? Have a conversation with him about, I'm going to pay attention to myself now, you know? I'm going to be cordial with you, and we're going to co-parent, and we're going to do this together. And I know it's hard. You got to get through that hurt part first. So that's why you got to turn it in on yourself so you can heal yourself. Okay?
Yeah.
Next question. It says, hello, I love your videos. Hi, Mackie. How are you?
What's up, Max?
I'm in biotech and looking to relocate back to the DMV.
Yes. DMV.
She said she's currently in North Carolina. That's pretty much what we did.
I know a little bit about North Carolina.
I know a little bit about North Carolina. I wanted to know what biotech companies you all know of in the area. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we'd have to do a little research on biotech specifically, but you know, one of the things to keep in mind about the DMV is that companies want to have a national HQ or regional HQ in the DMV for multiple reasons, right? One is it's a densely populated area. It's a heavily educated area, right? Lots of universities that are producing lots of people with a high intellect. And so many of those people are into the bio, right? And so then you have things like the National Institutes of Health and other governmental entities that are driving the need and for companies to be in that space, right? Partnering with them, sharing research, all of those kinds of things. And so there are definitely, I would say, a plethora of companies that are in that space that you could benefit from, right? And the other thing I would say is think outside of the box with some of those things, right? You hear about companies like Amazon going into the healthcare delivery, pharmaceutical space, Walmart,
Yep.
right? And so just because they're not kind of quote traditional bio types of companies today doesn't mean that they're not looking at those spaces, inventing in those spaces, operating on the periphery. So I would say be very open. I think that the opportunities will be there, the income will be there.
Yep.
And so I would go, full bore into looking for opportunities in the DMV in your area of expertise.
I would say look for recruiters.
Mm-hmm.
I would say look for recruiters in
that's a good point, baby.
This area.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of good people that are headhunters in this area.
Mm-hmm.
And they can get you on the inside because they're going to have those connections.
Mm-hmm.
Also, make sure your LinkedIn has the DMV.
Mm-hmm.
Because what happens is when they search, they're going to search for people that already live here. Because relocation is expensive and they don't want to go through the whole thing if they're not sure you're going to relocate or not. Yeah. So all you have to do is you don't have to, like just put you're in the area. I did that when I was looking for a job here after Heath got his offer here. Mm-hmm. So make sure you change that. And as far as biotech, there's a lot of secretive biotech here. So that's why I said you might want to look at a headhunter or a recruiter, even if we give you the companies and we can get back to you on that. But even if we give you the companies, it's still going to be a different way to go about getting in there. And when you go on LinkedIn, look for some of the companies you know about, like national companies, and then see if there are people on LinkedIn that live in the area. Yeah. Right.
Hey, the internet is your friend. Google, YouTube, LinkedIn, reach out, do some hunting, decide if you have some target companies. Yeah. Engage with those recruiters. Make sure your LinkedIn is tight. Make sure the resume is tight. And start reaching out and engaging, letting people know that you're available. So everybody's looking for good people.
Maggie also says she was born in Fairfax, but haven't lived in the area for a while. Yeah. So
that was like us.
That was like us. We hadn't lived here in a while either. Yeah. And Fairfax, I go to Fairfax every day because we live right next to McLean. So the thing about it is, it's the thing that's cool about this area is it's like little neighborhood-ish, and then you go from it's kind of like a big New York. Let me just say it like this: like you have your neighborhoods, and you just kind of stay in your little bubble in your neighborhood, but you can go right really close to another little bubble. It's like that here. So Fairfax has changed a lot. You've got Vienna and you've got McLean. You've got it's Tyson's. Huge. Tyson's is massive and amazing. You should definitely look there. And we'll be doing a review of Tyson's coming up. So when we do our reviews, we do Maryland, Virginia, DC, Maryland, Virginia. We hop all around because we don't want to stay in one state for a while.
DMV.
Yep. Oh, thank you, Reed. Thank you for saying great advice and wisdom. We appreciate you joining us this morning.
What's up?
And IPR, good morning. Good morning.
What's happening?
Okay, so let's.
You got any other questions, baby? We're good right now.
I think we're good on the questions. I looked on Facebook and I didn't see.
But yeah, so back to our journey. Yeah, it was the same thing, right? It had been a long time since we lived here, and so we had to kind of do that rediscovery. Yeah. Understand what your goals are. Let me speak to that for a moment, right? And the concept of designing your life. I think is really important. And that's kind of the next thing that'll dovetail into the mindset and having your money in order.
Well, we were going to talk about what happened in D.C. first.
Okay. Well, let's do that then.
What happened in D.C. this week?
What do you mean, like the post-insurrection week?
Oh, my gosh, y'all. It's been very different here. It's been, what's the word I want to use?
Alternate universe-ish?
Yeah.
That's been like that for like 5 years, though.
It's like when I drive around, it's like, it's weird. And I'm not that kind of person. I'm not the kind of person to look at somebody and say,
what are they doing?
What are they doing?
What are they up to?
What are they up to?
Yeah. And I think that these events, I think you touched on that last week too, baby, that these events have kind of like impacted your psyche, and all of a sudden, in conjunction with like the the Enlightenment, and now the insurrection is like you looking at people like, oh, too close. What are you doing? Right. And so as opposed to it being love and understanding top of mind, you're like suspicious top of mind. Right. And so, at the end of the day, we don't want to be like that. Right. We're all Americans. We all are here in this big giant boat together. And it really needs to be about, hey, I'm going to trust that you're cool unless you show me otherwise.
So there's a state of emergency in our area. I don't know what that means. I just know I probably shouldn't go to many places.
Right. Like we haven't been to the city at all. I think our kids have maybe skirted the outer parts of the city.
Well, one of our daughters, we told you last week, she had to go into work to do some. She works at the courthouse. So, but she had an escort.
Yeah.
So, but now I don't even think you can drive through the mall. It's all shut down.
Yep.
And I was telling a coworker yesterday, it's really sad because
is.
That's one of the reasons we moved here. That area is so beautiful.
So vibrant.
And it's open and free. And to see people walking, different people, all different types of people coming from other countries and stuff, walking around and looking at the monuments and the buildings. And all those things are in use. Yep. They're not just, when we say monuments, they're not just standing. It's like in use.
Right. The museums and
the museums, you got and all of that literally has 12 feet fencing all around it right now. Wait, not just 12 feet fencing. We've got trucks on the road, army trucks, military trucks, and then we have soldiers. With that fencing.
It's like green zone vibes out there, right? So like I think that was like what they called it in Afghanistan or Iraq or whatever. They had like green zone area around where everybody was posted up.
Yeah.
And so that's basically what's happening in DC right now. And so even though it's like super close to us, we just haven't been over there, right? And so it's one of those things where you have to compartmentalize to an extent and just know, hey, I got my little bubble thing happening. I know what's going on over there, and it's just I'm gonna have to postpone my activity over there until another time in the near future. So that's how I'm flowing with it.
Yeah, and just that week, I think I told you last week. That week, I had a heightened sense of who I was around. And some of my neighbors have like "Don't Tread on Me" flags, and some of them were Trump, Pence supporters. But the day that the election happened, they all took their stuff down.
Yep.
But I still see like "Don't Tread on Me" flags. But that's like you can get
a license tag.
You can get a license tag like that in Virginia.
And it used to have a different meaning than it does today too, right? And so I think Virginia being a commonwealth, right? It always has had a kind of different vibe in terms of independence and independence of thought and how they govern. But I think that today kind of that takes on a slightly different meaning. But at the end of the day, hey, your vibe attracts your tribe. And so the way that we roll, I don't even entertain that stuff. It doesn't come to me. I don't have bad experiences.
No.
I don't see craziness.
Nope.
And so that's how I roll.
Yeah, to be honest, we don't have any problems. We actually talked to someone this week that we had to give some advice to.
Yep.
They were having problems like 10 minutes from our house. Their tires were getting slashed and their husband was getting profiled. And it's
what?
We were like, what? So I think what you have to do is make sure that you have a certain vibe about you so that you attract to you the proper thing. If you're walking around scared or you look like you're afraid to be walking around, if you walk around like you don't belong there, let me tell you something. Everywhere I go, I act like I am supposed to be here. Like
the memes this week with the HBCU sisters and the actors and how everybody feel like they're gonna be strolling into the
inauguration. Yeah. So it's like you just have to act like you belong here. Right. I don't feel like I'm out of place. I don't feel like I don't live. I don't. I'm not in a member of my neighborhood or my community.
Right.
And then I act like it. I speak to people. I hold my head up. I look people in the eye.
I
talk to people. I chop it up. And I can tell you something about living here in Arlington. I love it. People talk to you. People just chit chat with you. When you're in the grocery store, they say little things. They make little jokes. I didn't get that in North Carolina, guys. I didn't get that. In North Carolina, I literally felt invisible sometimes. And I didn't change.
Right.
I didn't change anything about the way I carried myself.
Right.
But for some reason here in Arlington, people like to engage no matter what you look like. And I really, really like that. I swim for exercise, and I go to the local pool at the local high school. It's really, really nice. And people talk to me. They look at me in my face. They say, good morning. They say, how's the water? How was your swim? Just regular little chop it up stuff. I got none of that in North Carolina. And I live in pretty much the same type of area. So I do like Arlington a lot better than North Carolina for those things as a person of color. Definitely as a person of color.
And now you're back, baby. Now you live in Arlington, VA.
So let's see what's going on. Okay. And you're welcome, Maggie. Thank you so much. Krupp919, good morning.
What's
thank
up?
you for joining us.
What's up? What's up?
Krupp9, oh, my favorite couple on YouTube. That's so sweet. Us? Oh my gosh, that's so sweet.
I thought you were talking about Russ and Sierra.
Oh my God, I love them. Yes, Ree F says, sounds like a wonderful place to live. Yes, it is. It's really, the vibe here is really, really cool. I'm so glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
And then Ree says, do you think it would be good for a retired person? Yeah, if you got a lot of money.
Bring the checkbook.
But you know what? The thing about being retired in such a place that's like this is there are a lot of living here is not expensive. It's the things that are expensive here is like housing. But food is not that much more. Transportation is not. Utilities aren't that much more. Things like that. If you got your housing situation straight, yeah, you can retire here. We're thinking about staying here. Well, we have another home somewhere warmer. Because my bones get cold, y'all.
I think that's another thing, from a multi-generational thing that we've been seeing recently, Trey, about how real estate companies are beginning to understand that you have multiple generations that can live in properties as well. And so, that's something that we do, right? So Tracy's mom lives with us, and
she lives in
our adult children with us. And so you have several generations within our household. And that could also be something that you could see down the road more and more as a trend nationally, right? And so, that's something else to keep in mind. Opportunities around maybe having roommates or family members or cousins and uncles or whomever it is to share space. And sometimes that can really be a way to also not only afford your life and your lifestyle, but also really be in a more comfortable scenario than you might have been if you were just doing it by yourself.
Okay, this is definitely for a retired person. If you want, we're from the school of if you have passive income of some type that's going to keep you going. I don't think you need a lot of money to live here. I just think you need to have your housing situation secured.
Yeah, and some income.
And then, of course, some income. Right. But you need to have that housing situation secured because that's the most expensive thing here. Oh, so Krupp911 is Corey from your old company.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What?
Corey.
What's up, Corey? Good to talk to you, man. Yeah, it's been a minute. I know you talking. I know who that is.
Yeah, cool.
That's
Thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
So I don't think we have any more questions right now, but if you have any questions, we'll do another question session down. So go ahead and put your question in. The next thing we wanted to talk about was we like to have a portion of our conversations about mindset. And I think I like to talk about this because that's the beginning of everything that you're going to do. And when you think about moving to an area like this, you have to get rid of the fear. You have to get rid of fear first. And we talked about that a little bit last week. But we want to talk about money because it comes up a lot. It's a real thing. And you have to be aware of being prepared to move. Because even though we had relocation, even though Heath's job was well paying, I didn't have a job yet. I had to have the mindset of, I'm going to get the right job to hold us down, to continue our lifestyle. Because if that wasn't going to happen, it's going to be a little tight on us. Mm-hmm. So I just got into the mindset of that. So when I say mindset, I mean mindset on your money. Don't just think about moving here and getting a job. Be very specific about the situation that you want. And when you're very specific about the situation that you want, that's what will manifest.
Right.
So that's what you have to do. You say, okay, I want to move to this area. Mm-hmm. Great. Put pictures up. Tell people you want to move there. We talked about that.
Get your vision board.
Then you want to move away from any fears that creep in.
Yep.
Right? That's the second thing that we talked about.
No fear here.
Now, the thing we're talking about this week is money. Mm-hmm. So you need to focus on money. Like, I want to or I need to make this kind of money. Mm-hmm. When we thought about moving here, we were like, hey, we need to live in this kind of house. We need to be this part of town. How much is that? Oh, okay. That's how much that is. Mm-hmm. Right? So then we had to think about how much money we need in order to do that, to live in that area. Because we didn't want to move here and be all busted and everything. We wanted to move here and live like we lived in North Carolina.
Not busted and disgusted.
No, we ain't got time for that.
Nope.
So we wanted to live as we lived in North Carolina or better. Mm-hmm. And we actually ended up with better.
We did.
And it was because of our mindset.
Right.
When we started looking at homes, we looked at homes in a range. Mm-hmm. We looked at homes that were less than what we were comfortable with, and we looked at homes that were more than we were comfortable with. And we ended up with a home that was $2,000 more listed, $2,000 more a month than what we ended up paying. Okay? So let's move into the mindset of, I am going to move here, number one. Mm-hmm. Number two, I'm not afraid to move there. Mm-hmm. And number three, I need this much money to get it done.
Right. Yeah. And then so now you're going to attract the resources to accommodate what it is that you need and want. Right. And so your movement, your moving your faith is going to bring in the resources that you need. So keep that in mind. It's all about the mindset.
You have to, and be specific when it comes to the money. I need $150,000. I need $200,000. To live in the area that I want to live in. You don't get the money and then try to figure out where to find a place to live. Then you're going to look up and be like, I don't like it here, mm-hmm. So where do I want to live? How much is that going to cost? Now I need to write down how much money I need, right? And then if you have other things going that can move with you, that's even better, right? So first, talk about it. And then second, get over the fear. And then third, get the money tight in your mind.
Boom.
Okay. What we got? It says, oh, you're welcome. You're welcome, Ree. It's Re-F. Thank you. And then, do you know anything about Chesapeake, Virginia?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Chesapeake is in the Tidewater, I think, yes. Right? And so that whole Norfolk, Suffolk, Chesapeake out that way, right? There's a lot of government contracting out there, right? With there's some military operations out there. And so there's a good amount of business in general in that part of the world. And so if you're living out there, absolutely, there are great opportunities for you to do what you need to do. It's on the water, so that's pretty cool. It's only a couple hours plus from DC, so right. That's pretty cool.
That's very cool.
It's only a couple hours from Metro Richmond, so that's pretty cool. And not that far from North Carolina, right? So I know a lot of people in Virginia like to go down to the Outer Banks in the warm months and those kinds of things. And so there are lots of pluses to Chesapeake, Virginia.
Yeah, Chesapeake is cool if you want a little bit slower lifestyle mm-hmm. than where we are.
Yeah.
So I think of that area as almost like old Virginia, mm-hmm. But it has a lot of new things about it right now because it's so close to Richmond.
Yep.
So I think that it's a good area if you're looking for those industries that are related to the coast.
Yeah.
Military, of course, is there. There's some colleges, I think, there, right in that area. And then the industry that is related to the coast. If you're a shipyard and shipping and things like that are related to Chesapeake. And there's a lot of that. A lot of the stuff that comes in here. And then Baltimore is another place to look if you want to look at a place that is on the other side of Chesapeake. So you got Chesapeake and then you have Baltimore.
Yeah, Baltimore is a great port. A lot of things happening in the suburbs of Baltimore. A lot of economic activity there.
Right. Now, IPR says, I might be moving to the DMV from New York City.
New York City!
Wow. Some fear is definitely there. It's not that different from New York. I think it's a little bit more to live here as far as
depending on where
rentals
you were.
and stuff like that.
Yeah. So like if you're in Manhattan, right? I think you'll actually see some. You'll see some equilibrium or even some cost savings. I think one of the things about the vibe in DC that's different from New York is that you don't have the giant buildings, right? No. And so when you walk around New York, it's completely cool. Certainly one of the dopest cities on planet Earth. But another thing that happens is because the buildings are so tall, you always feel like things are lurching over you, right? And
it's a little bit darker.
In DC, they have a law that says that buildings can't be. Yeah, the height restrictions make it to where buildings can't be but so tall. Right. So I guess they can't be any taller than the Washington Monument. And so what happens is you don't have this plethora of giant buildings. So it feels more open. It feels. I've never been to Paris, but in terms of this design and layout, with the circles and the traditional, the layout of the city is very dope, and it probably reminds you of Paris and maybe some European cities when you walk around DC proper. And so I don't think we have anything to worry about. If you can make it in New York, hey,
you can make it here
too. You definitely can survive and thrive in DC. So I wouldn't be concerned about that at all.
Okay, thanks for that, IPR. Care 007. I wonder if that has anything to do with James Bond. I love James Bond. Okay, it says, good morning. Thank you for the information, advice, and insight. You two are such a blessing. Oh, that's so sweet.
Thank you. We appreciate you.
Okay, Dylan. Good morning, Dylan. How are you? Welcome to Conversations with Heath and Tracy.
What's up, Dill?
It says, how are race relations are some places more segregated? That's a great question. And we get this question a lot.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I think that you certainly have a multicultural scenario in DC, right? It was commonly referred to as Chocolate City back in the day because it was majority black. And now you have a much more
it's more
mixture.
Caramel now.
Yeah, it's a little swirly, right?
Swirl.
But DC is dope. DC is completely dope. Notwithstanding the current state with all the things that are going on. But once that kind of blows over and things get to some certain level of normalcy, DC is phenomenal, a fantastic mixture. I think you get a little lighter as you get out into the Virginia suburbs, and you get a little darker in the Maryland suburbs.
So I'm gonna give you my take. So DC voted for Biden. The DC percentage voting for Biden was 97%.
Yeah, it was in the high 90s.
97%. Where we live in Arlington, Biden voters were 89%.
Yep.
So that gives you an idea of the mindset.
The vibes.
No matter what color the person is, or what their ethnicity is, or where they came from. That gives you the mindset of the areas.
What are the numbers in Maryland, baby?
The numbers in Maryland were, I think they're around 90%.
Yep.
Like Silver Spring, Montgomery County, Potomac, places, it was like 90%.
Yeah.
And these people have money.
Right.
So don't let people tell you just because they're of a certain persuasion and they have so much money that they are they're a certain mindset. That is not true of this area. And I think that's why it's so special to us.
Yeah.
Now, there are your instances. Like I said, we had a conversation with someone that Heath knows that's having problems, and I'll be specific. They were having problems in the Boston area. They lived in a fairly expensive condo or apartment.
I think it was apartment
complex in Boston. And what did she say? She said her tires had been slashed.
Yeah. Yeah,
her
we
tires.
touched on it earlier, baby. We touched on it earlier.
Her tires had been slashed, and her husband had been profiled. I'm saying it for people that maybe just joined us.
Okay.
And so
resetting the room.
What we told her, that's from Clubhouse. What we told her was that it was probably a few, an outlier kind of person that was targeting her and her husband in some type of way.
Right.
So I think it's important to understand those people are everywhere. But I would have to say I'm super comfortable in this area. I go swimming at a public pool. I'm probably the only person of my color in that pool. And I am so comfortable there. People talk to me. We joke. We have conversations. And when I was in North Carolina, that didn't happen. It was like, what you doing here? But here it's totally different. Whether they expect me there or not, they don't make me feel any different. I'd have to say everywhere we go, to the grocery store, to the parks, to the restaurants, wherever we go, we never feel like, what are you doing here?
Right.
Okay. So race relations, I think, are excellent. And as far as segregation, it's still segregated here a little bit. I think where we live in Arlington is only about 8% Black people, and it's more like 60% lighter persuasion, right?
Yeah, I think it was
64. Some areas it's going to be more than the other, but you don't feel like you don't belong there. I will say that. It is darker in Maryland, like Upper Marlboro.
Yeah, this is a tri-state area, County. Right? And so people are swirling around. You're shopping over here. You're moving over there. You're working over there. So in terms of where people live, it might be slightly leaning one way or the other way. But in terms of the overall vibe of the area, it's very, very mixed.
It's very mixed. Very diverse. Everywhere you go.
Yep.
Thank you for that question, Dylan. Okay, so Care007 says, has the pandemic changed the real estate market in the DMV? In some places in the States, things have become more expensive versus other places less so. Just curious. So that's a very good question, Care007. So in Arlington, to be specific, it has turned up a notch. Basically, everything is about 20% more, which is crazy. It's very difficult to find housing in a lot of areas in the DMV. So if you are looking at moving here, be patient. And I would highly recommend, we're not real estate agents, but we would highly recommend.
We used to be real estate agents, baby.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that. We're not real estate agents, but we highly recommend getting a real estate agent to help you. And that's even to rent.
Yeah.
They are out there too, okay? Yeah. So even if you're renting, get a real estate agent to help you, because what they'll do is they'll put a portal up for you that you can
create some choice.
Yeah,
right? You can have
and you
kind
tell
of
your own customized, curated search.
Right, and so predicated on your price points and the types of properties you're looking for.
You interrupted me.
I did? I'm sorry, baby.
I was losing my train of thought.
I thought you were coughing or you were doing something.
No, I was losing my train of thought.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Oh, I know. So what'll happen is properties will come into that portal before they actually hit the market. So make sure you hook up with a real estate agent in the area, and pick your real estate agent now. Don't just pick anybody. Talk to people, pick your real estate agent, and don't necessarily listen to them. Just get them to get you that portal going, and pick for yourself. Talk to your friends. Listen to us. Ask us questions, because
it's like anything else in your life, right? If it's your money, it's your children. It's like that's your decision in terms of how you approach things. But it's always good to have some professional advice and some wise counsel around those things to factor into your decision.
Right.
Yes.
So yeah, I hope that answered your question, Care007.
All right, Care007.
Okay, Dylan says, love the channel. Keep up the work. Yay! Thank you.
Thanks,
we worked
Dylan.
so hard on this, guys. You have no idea. It looks so easy, but it's just not. It's just not easy. Okay, Sarah McClendon said, hey, I've been missing you guys. So good to see you.
What's up?
My gosh,
What's
we're
up?
so glad to be back. Thank you so much, Sarah.
Hey, girl, hey.
We have been in a whirlwind of a year. I mean, when COVID hit.
You can't say that, baby. It's the enlightenment.
When the awakening hit, we kind of pulled back. Because what we felt the creator was telling us was
Mhm.
to sit down,
Mhm.
sit down somewhere. Don't worry about posting. Don't
Mhm.
worry about, and I kind of miss the connection and everything.
But now we back. We making it happen, Captain.
Kara Douglas said, got it. Great advice. Thank you. You are so welcome.
Absolutely.
Okay. Reed
Absolutely.
F said, would be interested in purchasing smaller home,
Mm-hmm,
2 to 3 bedrooms, 2 baths in a
Okay.
quiet area,
Okay.
not in the city, but not too far.
Okay. I see what you're doing.
Would be better fit. Arlington or Chesapeake.
Yeah, so I mean, that's your call, right? It's all about what it is that you need to do, what you're looking to achieve. Why why the Chesapeake, right? Is there family there? Is there some built-in help that you need with the children? Are you a person that just needs to be near the ocean or the bay, right? Some of those kinds of things. Or do you like the city vibe better, right? Do you want to be Metro DC? Do you want to have those cool vibes, right? It's kind of post enlightenment, it's going to be like a whole different vibe. So I think that's a big key is what is the vibe that you seek, right? Back to the conversation I was having earlier is design your life, right? What's most important to you? Where do you need to go? What are the logistics that you need to build into your life? What are the things that you like to do for recreation? Where are the people that you love? Are there people that are near you that you want to be closer to? All of those things, right? So
Very
some of
good
these
points.
decisions are very personal. And so for us, right, as an example, for us, our oldest daughter graduated from Howard. She was working in DC. Our youngest daughter was at Howard. So we have 4 children. So 2 of the children were already living in Metro DC.
Right.
We're already living in DC proper. So when our youngest graduated from high school, Tracy and I had been thinking about several different things over the years, right? So it was like, okay, hey, the youngest is going to be done with high school pretty soon. So are we going to stay in North Carolina? Do we think we want to live in Florida? We've never lived in Florida. Tracy grew up there. Do we want to go back to Atlanta? We lived in Atlanta a long time. That's where I grew up. A lot of friends and family there. Do we want to go to DC? Do we want to go somewhere else that we haven't thought about, right? What's important? Okay. Now I got a job offer. Okay, so the job offer is over here.
Yeah.
All right, so what does that mean? How does that look? If I have to commute, how far do I want to commute? What's a non-starter for me, right? So all of these things were baked into our decision. And we did the same thing when we moved from Atlanta to North Carolina. So it's really about designing the life that you want, right? And so that's kind of what we advocate. So as it relates to your mindset, your money, your marriage, all of these things come into play. And so you want to make sure that you go inward and really understand what's most important to you.
Yeah, it's not about the 2-bedroom house and if it's going to be a better 2-bedroom house in Arlington or in Chesapeake. It's all about where do you want to live?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to live in a small town? Do you want to be near family? Do you want to work at a certain place? Where is that? Is that in Chesapeake or is that in Arlington?
Yeah.
They're 3 bedrooms in Chesapeake, just like they're 3 bedrooms in Arlington.
Absolutely.
So think about it a little bit differently because you can get either in both places.
Right. And you can do the homework, right? The internet is your friend. So, hey, do some homework, do some hunting, look at some of the real estate listings, look at some rentals, look at some purchases and all of those things and let all those data points play into your decision making. I see you, Michelle Donato. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, girl? What's up, girl? Fellow HU mom in the struggle. I shouldn't say that. That's so negative. I know. But we feel you. I feel you. Understand? I feel you, fellow HU mom.
What else we got, baby?
So I think that's it.
We winding it down?
Yes. Thanks. Oh, you're welcome, Re-F. Just remember, design your life.
Yeah.
Don't worry about where the best place is. Mm-hmm. Is it going to be cheaper? If that's what you're asking us, it's going to be cheaper in Chesapeake, Virginia. Mm-hmm. Is it going to be more lifestyle, more robust living in Arlington? It's going to be Arlington. But besides those 2 things, think about where you want to live, how you want to live your life.
Right.
If anything, the awakening has taught us to value our lives, to value our friendships, to value our relationships, to value our children, to value the things that we probably didn't think 2 things about because we were so busy trying to pay the mortgage, trying to pay the car note, trying to put gas in the car, trying to eat. Well, it gave us pause. And in that pause, we got a chance to say, hey, what do I want to do? Who do I want to be? Where do I want to live? So that's what you need to do.
There you go, baby.
I think that's it for questions. We want to say thank you.
We appreciate y'all.
Thank you for joining us with Conversations with Heath and Tracy. Join us every Saturday morning.
11 a.m.
EST, Eastern, East Coast.
Right here.
First Coast. We'll be showing up on Facebook and YouTube on our channel, HeathandTracy.com. I mean, HeathandTracyTV.
Yep.
HeathandTracy.com is still pushing you to Joyfully Married After. We still do have our podcast, Joyfully Married After, and the new season has started.
Yeah.
So hop on and listen to us there on any of the platforms that you listen to your podcasting on.
If you're on Clubhouse, check us out over there.
Yep. Heat's on Clubhouse more than I am. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget.
Stay connected. Stay connected to God, stay connected to your family, and stay connected to your spouse.
Or your significant other. We love you.
HeathandTracyTV. Hit the music, baby.
I'm trying, baby.